Okay, so we are going to talk about writing resumes in English today, and we have Ikram and Reem with us. I will start by making the presentation and tell you writing, it's usually standard. It's usually how it's done. And then if you girls have any questions, feel free to write them down in a piece of paper. And once the presentation is done, we are going to talk about it. So first of all, there are two things that I want to say about resume writing. The first thing is that although it's helpful to have a resume, a standard resume that we always refer back to when we are applying to jobs, but it's better to always tailor and change the resume according to the job that we are applying to. So, for example, if you're applying, you're applying to a job in with an NGO, with a non-governmental organization, or if you're applying for a job with a company, it's not going to be exactly the same. If you're applying for a job as an administrative assistant, it's not going to be the same as a job where you're supposed to be writing things, or you're supposed to be doing translation, or doing something more creative. So I'm going to start first by taking I'm going to take a blank page, an empty Word document, and I will share my screen with you, and then we're going to start from scratch. So when you have a blank page and you don't know what to do with it, and you need to write a resume, this is how you should go about it. So let me just share my screen. Okay, I think you girls can see the screen. So as you can see, this is an empty page. Now, what goes on top is usually your name. So name, we're gonna write first and last name. And you usually write your email, so email@email.com. And you also write your phone number. So for example, I don't know, I'm just gonna write like this. So now there are different types of templates, but usually we like to keep, it's always good to keep things very simple. So it's just written in black. And a really good thing to do is when you have the email in blue like this, because it's a link, it's always good to just click on the left button on your mouse, and you click remove hyperlink so that it's all in the same color. And now you might think this is silly. Why do I have to follow every single thing like this? Why do I have to make sure that every single thing is perfect? But it's important because this is your first impression. Your employer is going to look at this, and they're going to decide if they're going to hire you or not. Now, the other thing you need to add is your address as well. So I'm just going to write City of Peace and Love. And obviously, this is really a very simple type of resume. So you can either write them here, you can either write it here. It doesn't really matter how your placement is. You can always, so for instance, if we go to Word and we click new and we write resume, It's going to give us a lot of really good templates that we can use. So it's possible if you want to use this one or this one, and you would just do the same. So you go use if you want it to look better. So you do that. Now we're not really going to talk a lot about the format, because you can use any format. It's not a problem. And as you can see here, it's your address, your email. You can add your Twitter and Facebook if your job is linked to social media. So for example, if you are a community manager, or if you work in marketing, digital marketing, and it's important for you to have like to show that you have a really good knowledge of your work. You may want to add your Facebook page, your Twitter handle, your Instagram page, if you think it's relevant to your job. If it's not, then don't include it. Now, as you can see, this is a template. Now, there's a part that a lot of people skip, and which I find to be very interesting, and it is your career objective, or it's a summary of what you want to get, the kind of job that you want to get. And this is very important. A lot of people skip it. They just don't do it and go right to the experience part. And we're going to do another session like this, which is going to be in more detail. So I'm going to ask you to prepare a resume, a simple resume, but then we are going to look at certain jobs, and we're going to see how we can tailor and change our resume according to those jobs. So for example, I'm just going to choose a job. Maybe I want to become, I want to apply to a job as a designer, okay, a graphic designer. And I'm gonna write something as simple as this. It's gonna be, I am, or experienced graphic designer, interested in a position with a startup. And then this is very simple, so you can add more details. So for example, you can add more details about you. You can explain experienced graphic designer who worked with one of the best design companies in the world, or something like that. I don't know how everyone's experience is. So we have different experiences, and it's good to write a really short description about our experience, but also a description about what we want to get. So you're interested in a position with a startup. And then we will look at this part another time in more detail. But this is just to tell you how it's structured. Now, the format here present, it's the format where you put your experience first and then your education. Now, it's possible for you, if you are a student and you don't have relevant experience, to start with your education. Also, if you don't have a lot of work experience, you think that your education is you have more you have more things to say about your education than your work experience, then definitely put the education section first. So you want to start with the section with your strongest section, if it's education or experience. So if I am doing, for example, starting with the experience, I'm gonna obviously always specify the date when I started work and when I stopped my job. So if you are still working with a certain company, you're going to write present. So for instance, from July 2016 to present, I was working as a graphic I'm just going to invent something awesome. It's very. What you need to do here, describing your responsibilities and achievements, is always go back to the job description. So every job you apply to needs to provide you with a job description. So it's usually on the website, or it's usually on the link or the newspaper ad that you saw. And if they don't, make sure that you get that job description. Try to call them, try to contact someone and ask them what is the what is this job, what is the person going to do when they start working for you. And feel free to ask as many questions as you can, because this is very important for you and it's going to help you improve your resume. So let's say I am applying to a job as a graphic designer with a startup, and I know that what they need is they need me to prepare daily designs for their Facebook page. They need me to prepare a logo for them. They need me to work on the branding. So I'm going to tell what I'm going to write what my responsibilities and achievements were with awesome pictures, this company. So I may start with, for example, telling them that I was in charge of designing the logo, the social media posts, and blah blah blah, whatever my job was for this company. I worked in collaboration with the CEO to create an outstanding brand for the company. So these are what my responsibilities were. Now, for achievements, it's always helpful to have numbers. So in every job you, in any of your jobs, make sure that you are tracking and make sure that you are taking notes of the things that you achieve. Now, this was one of my biggest mistakes when I started working. I didn't do this. I wasn't aware of how important this was. So I didn't write down. So for example, if we organized an event, or so I worked first as a project coordinator. That was my first job. So I didn't write down what my tasks, my tasks, they were in the job description, but I didn't write down what my achievements were. So I didn't write down how many people attended the events. I didn't write how many reports I wrote. I didn't keep track of the things that I did. So it's important here to write what you did. So within 1 year, you're able to design, 100 Facebook posts. I am just giving examples. We will look in more detail next time, and it would be great if anyone, or if you'd like to volunteer and send me your resumes. I will send you this template, so you can work on this template and then send me your resume, and then we will try to work on them together and improve them. So design 100 Facebook posts, and always good to write numbers. For instance, and you can also talk about things which are not directly related to your job. You can even talk about things that you did with your team. So for instance, if you were in charge of organizing an event which helped people learn new things, or if you were in charge, or if you took the initiative and you decided to organize even a team building activity for your team, that's also good, and it shows the employer that you are a team player. It shows them also that you take initiative. So you can say, I don't know, even if you create a book club. So let's say this imaginary person, decided to create a book club for their company. So what they did was, I think there's a little bit of a problem. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, I'm hearing you, Ru'a. I'm following you.